So I'm in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which is considered the 8th most dangerous city in South Carolina. And South Carolina is considered the 3rd most dangerous state in America. This is a city that was almost a no-go zone for a while, and the city took control back of the city from all the criminals, and they have it back to a level where the crime is more reasonable. The population in Myrtle Beach is 41,000, and it's rising quickly. It's rising at over 3% a year. That's really fast. I mean, a 1% rise in your population is really fast, and 3% is like really, really fast. It's 68% white, 14% black, 12% Hispanic, and 1% Asian. But that probably, it's a huge touristy city, so on any given day those stats would, might not be that same. But as far as the people that live here, those are the statistics. The average age is 47. So of the people that live here, it's a lot of an older population. 27%, over 1 in 4 of the people that live here are considered senior citizens. There's a 61% home ownership rate, which is really high for a city, kind of. It's considered 11% lower than the national average, but it's a good number. I can't quite see the ocean from where I'm at. Oh, there it is. Now we've pulled up on it. You can smell it. Yeah. You can smell it. It's right there. You're still a ways away driving on this road, though, from the actual water. The median home value here is $237,000. I might cut up and get on a road closer to the water. This one seems to be really far away. The median rent here is $924 a month, which is 3% lower than the national average. So slightly lower, but pretty much right around the national average. The overall cost of living here is slightly higher than the national average. I don't know if this road up here it doesn't look like it has a lot of traffic on it. This road, unless it's just taken me to this hotel. But you can see the ocean straight ahead. The average income here is $33,000 a year, which is a little on the low side. Let's go up to this next one. Ocean Boulevard, that's the one we want to be driving on. The first one we were on was Kings Highway, and we were going south on it. And this is Ocean Boulevard. Yeah, you're going to just see a lot of hotels from here probably. There's a 15% poverty rate, which is decent, for a city of this size. 47% marriage rate, which is still low statistically, but it's really high for a lot of U.S. cities. And that's probably because 27% of the population are seniors, and they're more likely to be married. The average income is $33,000 a year, which is low. There's a 15% poverty rate, which is about typical. 47% marriage rate, which is pretty good. It's still low, but it's good. 30% of the people that live here were born in Myrtle Beach or born in South Carolina. That's a low number. That shows a lot of people are moving in here. A lot of them. It's 11% foreign born and 8% non-citizens. So the non-citizen numbers probably, if they're telling you it's 8%, it's probably a lot higher than that. Just a bunch of hotels to look at. Homicides here, since 2020, they have 6 to 9 a year, giving them a murder rate between 16 and 25. And for perspective, the murder rate of Chicago is typically around 22. So their murder rates here are basically around the same as Chicago's, even though the numbers are much smaller, their population is a lot smaller. The murder rates are still high. The assault rates were 964 in 2020. That's Baltimore levels. That's 964 per 100,000 people. That's literally right around what Baltimore gets. By 2022, it had dropped down to 648. So that it got better. But historically, it's in that 800 to 1,000 range, which, you know, sticks right in there, right around what Baltimore does. So they got it better. It was really bad. They've got it down to a reasonable level where it's a little safer for the tourists that come here. Their theft rates prior to 2018 were in the 11 to 12,000 per 100,000 people. Now, a theft rate of about 2,500, you might just say that that's an acceptable level, even though that's high too. So 11 to 12,000 is super high. That's really high. Since 2020, though, that dropped down to about 5,000 to 6,000, which is still high, but at least they're moving it in the right direction. The violent crime here is listed at 174% higher than the national average, which the 80s, 90s, 100% higher, that's about regular city bad. So it's starting to get up to, when you get close to the 200, you're starting to get into that iffier category, which 174 is still getting close to that iffy, but it's, from what the city says, things are getting better here. And if that number's going down, it's not so bad. Property crime is 243% higher. That's definitely in that iffy category. That definitely is in that. So you really, if you're here, you got to keep an eye on your stuff. Just, be aware that, yeah, it's a touristy place. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's cool. But it's not as safe as it looks. I mean, I'm looking at all this. There's nothing here that screams out high crime. Nothing. Not even a little bit. Your odds of becoming a victim of a crime is 1 in 13. So, like I said, keep an eye on your stuff if you're here. If you live here, keep your doors locked, keep an eye on your stuff, lock your cars. The year-over-year crime is showing a decrease, though, of 20%. So the city really, I don't remember what year where they started like cracking down. I think it was like in the last 5 years, though. It feels like it was recently where they really started cracking down on the crime here and getting things back to a more acceptable level. And it sounds like at least they're still doing a good job on doing that, on getting things back to a good level. The schools here aren't so bad compared to what you see in America. 61% of the kids are graduating proficient at reading and math. Sounds like a low number, but in the state of South Carolina, it's only 47%, and in America, it's only 48%. So if they can pump out 61% that leave schools reading and doing math at a 12th grade level, they're doing really good by American standards these days. 83% of the people that live here completed the 8th grade, and 82% graduated high school. So not the best numbers, but they're certainly not the worst. I came here when I was a teenager. I came here, and it was either before things got bad or it was like when it was first starting to get bad. I don't know. I don't remember it being bad. I don't remember any of this. I don't remember any of it. I remember I enjoyed being here though. And I'm glad they started cleaning it up, because I remember telling my dad a few years ago how bad the crime was here, and him saying, oh, we went there and it was so nice, and he was saying all this stuff about it. It was kind of like disappointing to hear how bad it had really gotten. And it's possible it was bad while we were here and we just didn't notice, because when you're a tourist and you come in and out of a place, you don't really always see, you know, what things are really, I mean, if you're sticking to your hotel and the beach in front of your hotel, or, you know, you're just going to the touristy places, maybe you're not seeing all the bad stuff. But it looks like they've turned it around and they got it a lot better. And so hopefully going forward, this isn't a place that ranks in the top 10 as far as most dangerous cities goes, in a state that ranks as the number 3 state. So being a top 10 in a number 3 state it's pretty bad. But that's about all I can show you. There's nothing really, I mean, it's a touristy town. And the crime is likely because of the fact that it's a touristy town. But I'm going to cut this out here. And thanks for watching. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.